I'm Ken Buchanan. We've all had very different experiences during this period of the COVID-19 and I feel that when it's over, we'll all have very different stories to tell about what the Lord's taught us during this time. As an elder in our church, I've been used to being in the thick of things whenever decision making is happening in our church. On this occasion, when the church was closed, I had been sidelined. In mid-February, I visited the doctor with some moderate pain in my diaphragm, possible gallstones, I thought, and was sent for a scan to verify it. Within a couple of hours, I was summoned to the doctor and told to bring my wife. Not a very happy portend for what the doctor is about to tell you. It turned out that I had pneumonia, and she was very concerned because I had no history of lung problems, did not have a cough or a cold, and it was the middle of summer, so she was quite concerned. I was put on strong antibiotics and over the next few days did develop a cough and actually coughed up blood occasionally. However, I did not feel particularly unwell. All this was at the beginning of the COVID-19 scare, and I was warned to stay very strictly isolated because catching the virus would have only one result. I just had my 70th birthday, and on the 10th of April, it was 10 years since my wife Beth had passed away. For those of you who didn't know her, she was our church music director, a KYB leader, a CWI speaker on the national panel, and art teacher at Kalula Christian College, as well as the mother of 3 grown children. I was beginning to feel a bit like Job. In the midst of this, I had to go to the Sunshine Coast Kawana Hospital overnight to visit a specialist and have some fluid drained from my lung to check for problems more serious than just pneumonia. All sorts of things passed through my mind going down to Kawana where there were people with COVID-19, and the respiratory specialist I was seeing was probably one of the ones who was treating the people with that problem. Fortunately, all is apparently now well, and I've just had an unexplained bout of pneumonia and I'm almost completely recovered. I did discover through this that our church functions quite well without me. In fact, most of the Gympie.Church production is done in our church with our pastor Kevin and others heavily involved. I'm praying that when this is over and we can go back to our own churches, that there will be a new and invigorated relationship between us, and we will see past differences that have kept us from working together in the past. It's great to have 2020 hindsight, to see through this. In all occasions like this you'll learn, and I've had a fairly down period and feel that I've had some problems. But when I go to the Bible, I know just all of the things that Jesus did and what he faced, and he was new and aware of what was going on. And one thing I've seen very recently is looking up in 2 Corinthians 11, verses 23 to 29, which is the difficulties that Paul had. And I'll just read this to you. It's actually from the Message. I've worked much harder, been jailed more often, beaten up more times than I can count, and at death's door time after time. I've been flogged 5 times with the Jews' 39 lashes, beaten by Roman rods 3 times, pummeled with rocks once. I've been shipwrecked 3 times and immersed in the sea for a night and a day. In hard travelling year in and year out, I've had to ford rivers, fend off robbers, struggle with friends, struggle with foes. I've been at risk in the city, at risk in the country, endangered in desert sun and sea storm, and betrayed those betrayed by those who I thought were my brothers. I've known drudgery and hard labour, many a long and lonely night without sleep, many a missed meal, blasted by the cold, naked to the weather. And that's not the half of it. When you throw in the daily pressures and anxieties of all the churches, when someone gets to the end of his rope, I feel a desperation in my bones. When someone is duped into sin, an angry fire burns in my gut. I've got to say that when you read something like that, the troubles that I've had and that most of us have had during this period of isolation pale into insignificance. And I just feel that we should all pray and be grateful for this country that we live in and for the things that have happened around us. Thank you.